held me oh so tight. Who could know the way the years would draw me close to the Lord you feared? The love you showed to me proved all that I could be. I watched you walk in faith. I heard the prayers you prayed. I saw you demonstrate such love. You lived a life that's shared, straight from a heart that cared.
It was you who led me to the truth.
I learned so much about Jesus, looking at you.
Even though God's taken you away, I'll forever feel the difference that you made. As I try to walk like Jesus did, I'll be passing on the life you live. I really want to be everything you were to me.
I watched you walk in faith. I
sparrows fall and watch as flowers grow. I know you care for me each day I live on earth below. Though trials come my way and life may trouble be, if God sees the sparrows fall, I know you care for me. Though trials rise that I don't understand, I know it's part of God's almighty plan. In the time of pain, I trust God above. I lean on Him, it's Him I love.
Several years ago, our precious daughter Rachel was 2.5, lying in a hospital crib after her 6th kidney surgery. Her tiny body shuddered in pain, and the doctor searched feverishly for medicine that would let her rest. After 2.5 days and pain-filled sleepless nights, Byron held her in his arms in the crib, and she finally fell asleep. Byron collapsed from exhaustion, and I was in despair. The next morning, God's word brought us a glimpse of hope when I read in Matthew 10, "Not one sparrow will fall to the ground without your Father. Fear ye not, therefore. Ye are more valued than many sparrows." Claiming that truth, we sat at the piano and through many tears wrote this song. Rachel now serves the Lord with us in the ministry, but we will never forget those precious words.
If God sees the sparrows fall and watches flowers grow, I know you care for me each day I live on earth below. Though trials come my way and life may trouble me, if God sees the sparrows fall, I know you care for me. When sorrows come and dark misery, I still have hope that God cares for me. Tears may fill my eyes until I cannot see, yet I still know God cares for me. If God sees the sparrows fall and watches flowers grow, I know you care for me each day I live on earth below. Though trials come my way and life may
Welcome back. Normally it doesn't come to me, but today...
Surprise!
Special.
Hey, well, everybody needs to put the normal handles with their actual
do have to
name.
go.
See, he's entertained.
I'm only in the 1 percentile of height, but the 99% of weight can't tell me.
Dave, we have hot tamales. Get fired up. I knew this was a good move. Go ahead.
Honest, I actually don't know what happened.
Well, this is stupid. That's fine. Whatever. Just you're exposing your idiocy.
You've heard it here first, folks. We'll be right back. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Season 7, Episode 2 of the Brook on Canaan Radio. We're excited to be live this evening. As you can tell, we had the wide-angle camera start live, start early, and that's because we're giving $100 away to anybody who can tell us what we were talking about, word for word, exactly right. That's good, right? We're pretty safe.
Can you afford that?
See, here's the thing. We don't actually have to admit anything. We're glad you're listening to us. In the studio here, I have got Pastor Reeves.
Hello.
Brother Peter Ward.
Hi.
Brother JT Crawford, who is not in the booth anymore. And then up in the booth, we got the two minions, Ricardo and Damien. As you can tell, Damien's already started the broadcast off with a great song selection of a Christmas
song
pick. I'm not sure why, but...
That's in honor of Brother Combs. Christmas
That's true.
in July.
Yeah. I wonder if he's listening. We need to text him and see if he is listening. Everybody get your phones out. Everybody get your phones out and text one person who is not listening. Text them the link to the broadcast. Okay? While you do that, I will tell you who...
Can you text me the link?
Hey, you're not exempt.
No, because I have it pulled up here, so technically I'm watching it. Don't forget that during the broadcast, we like to play requested songs from time to time. If you would like a specific song played, you can text us at 920-940-8275. Or you could just throw it on the chat here on YouTube. You could email us. We're probably not going to get that. You could direct message us on social media. There, probably might see it. Just might not.
I have no idea how to get the link.
I'll text you, Pastor.
He'll text you the link. You get yeah. I mean, you should be able to just copy it straight from your iPad because it should be synced. But
yeah, but where do you get it?
Right here. You just go like this, and then you go like this.
Well, thank you, JT. Share. Never mind. JT's faster than you.
Copy link. Let's do some shout outs, shall we? Oh my. All right. It's good to have
Brother Tut's on there.
Brother Tut. Hey, he can't miss this week.
Hey, yeah.
You got to see that introduction. We're going to play that here in a couple minutes, brother. Mm-hmm. Let's see, Brother Crawford. Not this Crawford. The Crawford, the great. The OG. The first.
That's right.
Jewel's on here. Christy's on here.
Sleeping.
Hannah's on here. Hope's on here. Emily's on. Did I say Emily twice? No. Mrs. Smith is on here. My wife is on here. Hello.
Something went wrong. Please try again.
That's not me.
That was you.
How's it me?
That was your iPad.
No.
Is your iPad muted?
What? Yeah, I don't have... Can you hear it?
I just heard it.
Do you hear the program?
Something went wrong.
Well, that's all I know. Because it wasn't mine.
It was yours.
No. No. It wasn't mine. Mine's muted.
This morning I sent him a text in the bus meeting expecting his phone to go off because he has bypass on. So he hates it. But I knew I wanted to say something today, and I forgot to tell him beforehand. So I sent him it. And it was so funny because it didn't go off.
He spent all week with you, so he muted
It didn't
you.
go. I always accuse him.
It went off.
Let me finish. I always accuse him.
It went off.
Let me finish.
Okay.
Of turning off the bypass.
Yeah.
And last night when he got home, I know he turned it off. And
I did.
And
it was already off.
And then he didn't. He failed to turn it back on.
I turned it on this morning.
It just proves my point.
Stop. Hold on. Let me finish.
He has special privileges, and he just
First of
shuts
all,
me off.
When you want to know why? You want to know why I turned it off?
I pay him.
Here we are.
For the phone. I pay for the phone.
We're visiting Brother Perez.
Let me say it again. I pay for the phone.
We're visiting Brother Perez, and we are standing up to leave, doing the ending prayer, right? Holding hands, singing. No. But pastor's like, well, let me pray with you for it. So he starts praying, real serious prayer. Right before he prayed, we took some pictures.
Yeah, tell the background.
And
that brother Perez has cancer.
Well, yeah, I figured most of the people on
and
here
literally is skinny, and it's the last time we ever see him somewhere, and trying to have this heartfelt,
yes,
and Holy Spirit filled,
yes,
and hopefully healing type prayer.
Yes, and it was a serious moment. Right before that, he took pictures with his phone. We all got pictures, and he sent them in a group message to Brother Perez and me, and it went through in the middle of the prayer. And in the middle of the prayer, my phone goes, whatever the sound is. So I muted that. I muted it because I was like, I'm going to be with you all week. And then I forgot to unmute
Brother
it.
Perez laughed. He thought it was funny.
Yeah. But you in the prayer acted like it was my fault. He's like, I am sorry for my son's phone.
I did pray.
It was literally muted.
God help my son.
Hope's here. Hannah's here. Christy's here. I said all those, didn't I? I did. Mom's here.
Mom.
Well, they're watching. Gabby is listening. Hi, Gabby.
Hey, Gabby.
Where is she?
All right.
She's in Indiana.
No, where is she?
No, what's her name?
Gabby, if you're on YouTube, comment.
Oh, she's not.
Or she might be listening on the app. Huh?
Thanks, Jeff.
Jeff.
Brother Jeff is listening. Brother Tripp is listening. Brother
Dad, I think I probably have one at home somewhere in the closet hanging up that I probably should.
Do you have something?
I have something.
This is the first season we all got something.
Yeah, I think so.
What do you have anything?
Yeah, he does, but he
you have
he
this?
refuses to wear it.
What do you
No,
have?
it's just a polo.
You have a polo.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not allowed to
Oh, yeah, it's the polo.
We need.
That I'm
I
allowed.
think we need season 7 merch.
That's right.
Or at least for those in this room. At least at this table.
I got my mug. Or wait,
Watch your screens very closely.
Right there, see. Actually, we all do.
Oh, I forgot that we could change that. I should change that. That if you want to comment, you have to be subscribed to the Canaan Radio YouTube channel for 3 months.
3 months?
Apparently, that's the rule that we have set.
Well,
And
we did that because we had a lot of looky-loos causing problems. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
we called them
I
trolls.
thought it was.
The Setzers are listening. Hi, brother and Mrs. Setzer.
I thought it was only a few weeks that they had to be a part of it. Or
Yeah, I thought
How do you subscribe? Can you see it on there? Do you
How do
know
you know
YouTube?
there's
Maybe
a
it's not
subscription?
3 months. I
You
don't
have to
know.
pull up
Let me
the
see.
live.
it wasn't
Go
3 months
into
because that was like the whole
edit
season.
Yeah. Should
Go
I? Maybe I'll do that on the
should do
break.
that. Yeah.
We'll
Yeah, that's great.
take it off for this until it's a problem again.
Brother and Mrs. Setzer,
Yeah.
Damien is still breathing.
Elsie said it's only 10 days now.
It's very painful
There you
for
go.
him to breathe,
Yeah,
but
that
he's still
sounds right.
breathing.
He's limping too.
As you can see, Pastor and I have gotten a nice shade of Trump going on here. That's because we rode a total of 28 hours.
Now, you want to see what I was going for, though? Hey,
Yes.
come down here. Come down here.
Oh, my.
This is what I'm going for. On this trip, I actually lost 3
Hey,
pounds.
tiptoe, man.
Literally, it was
Checking out
like
the cameras.
five days on motorcycle. And at the end of 5 days, eating out the whole time, I got home and I literally had just eaten pizza. I got on the scale and I had lost 3 pounds. So it's down to 240
Disgusting.
pounds. But this is what I'm going for right here. Come in my camera.
Hey, you're not too far off.
He's pretty close.
Oh, my goodness. That's Ricardo, if you're wondering. He is
We
eligible.
had fun on the bikes.
If you want to switch to Damien Screen 7 or whatever that is to play, I'm going to play this behind-the-scenes video of Pastor Reeves
silliness
on the bike. There we are.
Oh my word! Look at the flab. It's my losing weight flab. No sound. You can't just hear my rock music.
I don't think that plays through.
Packers, go pack, go
You'd,
pack.
you'd have to set the.
I'm listening to Canaan Radio. Hands free. You didn't know I had hands free on my motorcycle. Hey. It's my little jig. All right, well, that's good enough.
There you go. You can switch back.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I had fun. It was nice. Now all of America has seen the Fruit Loop on the motorcycle.
Yep.
They saw you too.
Yep. They sure did.
Wow.
When did you get the red one?
He didn't. It's mine.
It's his.
Oh, you're turning to me? Yeah.
Another cruise bike.
Yeah, I almost
Actually-
died. Because it's unsafe.
Literally, he tore my bike up. It is First thing I see is the shifter pedal is missing the knob on the end.
The
It's
little
just
rubber
gone.
boot that goes around.
The rubber
it.
boot.
I don't
It's
know how
gone.
that. It
And
might
I
have been
said-
gone before we
I said
even.
no.
Might have.
No.
Don't know for sure.
Just no.
Don't know for
you
sure.
know how thorough. What just happened?
I don't know.
You know how thorough
thing
I
crashed.
am with my stuff, and so I know everything's on there. I worked on the fairing and everything, fixed it all up, and secured it. And on the way home, he disappears from behind me, which freaks me out because I'm hypersensitive anyway, because I'm always watching. He's back there having a good time, and I'm like always wondering where he's at. So I didn't enjoy the trip at all. But anyway,
Wow.
he was right behind me. We're just fixing to get off, get gas, and last stop, go do a little shopping. And I look up in my rearview mirror, and he's just gone. So I slow down a little bit. I'm looking around the traffic. He's not there. He's gone. And so I went, well, I'm going to stop at this exit anyway.
Yeah.
And by the time I got there and got off my bike, I looked down and I saw a text. And so what? Can I finish the story? Finish the story.
Yeah.
So I text. It says, when I get where I'm getting, drop a pin or what, let you know where I'm at. I'm 58. I can't even figure out how to drop a stinking pin. So I'm like, we're at exit 4, whatever it is. I'm at the pump and pantry right next to the mall, and no response. And so then I get done filling my gas up, and I go down to the Nebraska Crossings Mall because I wanted to go in there and get some stuff I wanted to do anyway. And he's texting me back and forth, and the texts just keep piling up because we're talking back and forth. Finally, he shows up in the store.
Yeah.
Meets me at the store. And then in the store, where I'm walking through the store, he's walking with me, we're looking at things. I look up at him, I said, so what's the deal? Where did you go? Like that. And he looks at me and goes, did you not read my text? And I'm like,
Doesn't even care.
I'm just like,
in
wait a
4-lane
minute.
traffic.
I did read your
Bikes
text.
falling apart.
But here's the problem. It didn't dawn on me until, he seriously was like, I told you all that what happened. And I was like, okay, I didn't see that. So what has happened is he told me that he pulled over because the fairing, the plastic part of the fairing fell off and was making noise anyway. So he had pulled off.
I thought he was saying steering this whole time.
Fairing.
So, okay.
It's just a cover.
So he pulled over to get it off, and anyway, that's what he. But then there were like 3 more texts above it. Instead of putting it all in one text like I do, old people just put the whole thing in there. All of these
Somehow.
different. So when I open it up, it went to the first text, or the one at the top, which says when you get to where you're at. So I didn't read anything underneath that. So I sincerely was standing in the store going, no, I don't have any. No, I just.
I get to pump and pantry. He's not there.
It's like I expect him to understand. If I'm asking that question, I probably did not read the text that he's referring to, because I look at it, I'm like, I'm lost. I'm like,
see above information.
Anyway, I just looked at him and said, whatever. Dude.
Anyway, it's all
You're
good.
so
I
young.
survived.
What's your problem? You're so young.
I figured it out. I found you. It's all good.
Kumbaya.
I think this is a great leeway into our first segment. Do you want to announce it?
Don't be tripping.
Don't be tripping.
Here I am. Praise the Lord. I got a microphone. This segment is all to do with the fact that our friend, Brother Tut Tripp, was nagging us about this program coming back on, and we're trying to be regular. We can't get a regular schedule, but this is not high on the priority list when it comes to all the other things. So I thought, hey, this is a good segment. We'll make a little bumper of "Don't be tripping." So just calm down. We're going to show you all the things we've been at. So this is David's. I'm going to let him take it away.
All right. So on the screen, we are going to go through the 6 weeks of the fall program. That's sort of where we ended last week with we ended the broadcast season 6 in August. We kind of covered in between August And it kind of went all the way up into, I think,
Kinda.
November here and there. But we'll cover the fall program here. As you can see, October 19th through November 23rd. This is all on Facebook. This is just Facebook.
No.
Yeah. Chili Bowl Sunday was the first Sunday.
That was
and
awesome.
we all can comment as we go through all these photos. I don't know why that photo is first, but
The judging was rigged. All right, now I've said it.
I don't remember who won. Oh, my team won. Yes, because the cornbread.
Dude, you don't remember who won?
We
Cinnamon
won.
roll.
No, it was the cinnamon roll,
which was
It's
my
not,
team.
Not that it was on your team. It's just that
It was
that
good.
particular
It was
person.
rigged.
Oh, I
Well,
bet
you
it
have a
was.
problem with Mariah?
Well, she didn't
Are you
understand
bitter?
the parameters that it was supposed to have been a chili.
It was
That is
chili.
a
Not
chili.
a chili and pastry cook-off.
Pastry,
Okay, dude.
is
She did,
But
what-
that's a Nebraska thing.
She did
I
what-
am not
exactly
bitter.
what needed
Here
to be
we are.
done.
Here's the
She
winning.
knew the way to the judge's heart was through
To
his
cheat.
stomach.
cheating.
All
That's
right,
right.
that's right. Amen. That's
Give
right.
a little hot chili and a little nice sweet roll. I like it.
Is that a Nebraska thing?
Brother
or is that
Brother
other
Tripp said
places
AI
besides?
has him bald. Is it AI though?
Get over it, brother.
Here's the judges.
It was
eating
good chili.
Good looking couple right
chili.
there. Had Abraham Lincoln was in that picture back there. Go back 2 pictures. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not Abraham Lincoln. Right there. See him? See him?
It does
It's
count.
Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, he does. Yeah. Yeah, Brother Jeremy. This is a song
I'm
that we
on the
sing.
winning side.
Do we sing that every morning? No?
People
Thought we
getting
did.
saved. People getting saved. You can tell a little bit. This is great. Hey, can you
sorry.
slow down? You're
Yeah.
like going 400 miles a minute. There's a singing group here. We're going to have a CD made.
Yes,
in
we are.
August. Tell us about that. And this is a group that'll be singing on that CD.
Yes, indeed.
It is
Well,
a
that's
CD of music done by the North Platte Baptist Church. Our own church, our own
Yep.
singers. So what's up?
That will be available
On YouTube?
on
No.
every place you can get your
Spotify?
music.
Spotify?
You'll even be able to get a hard copy CD. Well, can you get tapes made anymore? Is that even possible? There's got to be somebody, right?
Probably.
Like you can get records.
You
yeah.
get vinyls made.
Yeah.
I don't
Right.
think-
We'll sell some fine.
Yeah, I don't think tapes so much.
8 tracks. That would be
Seriously.
That'd be sick.
That's
Who's
a
got
cool
an 8-track
Husker.
player? Yeah, that was who made
My
that?
uncle.
Your uncle
made it.
No, he said who has
Mariah
an
made
8-track
that.
player.
Player, yeah. Anymore in their car.
Oh, in their car.
Who is in a sling there? What's going on, Peter? Peter should talk about
Tell
this.
us about that.
Because this happened after the Brooke, right?
I made him wear that though.
Well, obviously.
Yeah. So
I
Peter,
told
enlighten everybody what happened to your arm because I actually don't remember.
Well, Pastor has a very dangerous roof.
Oh, yes, I
my
do
word.
remember. Oh, yeah. Peter and Rubes.
Well, remember,
Ongoing
I have a New Year's resolution. I'm never going on roofs ever again, except for
I
the
don't
times
think
that
it's
I
a
do.
problem with the roof. It may be a problem with your equilibrium and coordination.
No, I think
That
it's more
was
the roof and
that
the fact
was
that
when we were
stupid
putting up the little
cedar
lights.
shake. Yeah.
We were putting up lights around Pastor's house,
And it has a disgustingly
thought-
steep angle.
Thought it was a great, yeah, and it does, true. But then you were trying to lift a ladder on top.
It was for a safety.
Yeah.
That's the irony of it.
and it
So-
fell out from underneath them.
Yep.
So
Caught
you landed
myself
on
wrong.
the ladder and the roof. Bang.
This is week 2, I think.
No, I didn't land on the ladder. I landed on the roof.
Okay.
I was trying to hold the ladder. It was part of the problem.
Yeah.
So
What was that?
That's a pumpkin.
No, before
This is week
that.
2.
Oh, a pumpkin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is week 2.
Oh.
You're so funny.
How long has she been going to our church?
Olivia? Since
Yeah.
she was born.
Yeah.
Hey, she's
It's Marquis'
what, 5
sister.
now.
she is, yes.
5? 4?
She's 5. She's graduating into the.
Really,
into kindergarten this
that'd
year.
be Christie's been working with that girl.
Boo, red shirts.
Yeah.
We won. So
Wait,
no.
go back,
No,
go
no.
back.
Why
Hey,
is
look,
there
it's Gabby.
Why is
Gabby,
there
yes, it is.
we won where it
cursor
counted.
up in the
Because that's how I'm doing it. Talking about this thing right here. Because I could click it.
Jason?
I could. There. Does that make you feel? Does that help out a little
No.
bit? She looks like she just punched somebody. Hey,
She did. I'm sure.
People get. There's another pumpkin right there.
How come you stay longer on pumpkins and short
don't
on
know.
people? You
I
can tell
don't
the
know.
story of the
I
people.
don't know. This for the second week we had Pastor's Pumpkin Patch had pumpkins.
Right. Drinks.
Drinks. We had cocoa. I'm trying to think, and click.
Apple cider, wasn't it?
Apple cider. Yep, and stuff. There's Anna.
Ever since your wife took over the picture taking, I noticed there's a lot more pictures of you.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? It's great.
Oh, that's so funny.
Fantastic. This was week 3, right? That was week 3 where we went out to camp.
Yes.
I don't remember the name.
That was
I
epic.
remember that hat.
It was hot that
It
day.
was
Yep.
the end of October. It was what, 80 degrees
Who's that
out?
good-looking fellow?
There's Pastor driving Ford, the only Ford you'll see him driving, right?
Yeah.
I drove a
Tractor.
Ford.
There's the first place winner somehow, right?
To me, that's where Ford should be, in a field somewhere.
Yeah.
Safe place to drive.
Sick.
Some more baptisms.
This is that, and put it back. This is David abusing children.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dunking their heads underwater.
Yes.
Danger.
There's turkey.
I should have had a zoom out picture of that.
Look, they're both Victor. That's funny.
Victor was a bus kid. He started
Turkey
coming
bowl.
here.
It was turkey bowl.
Now
That's what it
he's in his
Right, we
third
had the turkey shoot.
year of school. Oh.
Hey, Rod.
Let's talk about Jesus. Look at that. You
Such camaraderie.
can tell who the liberal is.
because I had a tie underneath.
Yeah, where you hang out with Ricardo too much. Always wearing something over your ties.
Yeah.
Oh, Ian.
Kill it. Hey, this is week. What are we at? 4?
4.
His hair, he blows me away.
Yeah, Demarius' hair. Festival Bowl, that's what it was. Festival Bowl. People getting saved. Games being played.
He says my preaching is rough, but every time you show a picture, I'm smiling, having a good time.
Everybody's having a good time. Red shirts.
Just like
black shirts. No, it's green.
Everybody's having a good time. Yeah, black.
In
shirt.
all the pictures.
That's a black shirt.
Back outside. Back inside.
Look, does that look I'm having a hard time? Preaching hard. Great singing group. What is that?
That's
That
an out of
picture.
focus picture.
I mean, I don't understand that.
It looked like Danielle was in focus.
Yeah, it might. I'm zoomed in a little bit, so. Did the black shirts win this week? I don't remember.
I think so. There was
Mac
points given for a
Munchies.
bunch of different things.
Those were
Mac
actually
Munchies.
that
You guys
right
won the
there,
food.
Those were good.
Yeah,
I still got some in my freezer. I can't eat them because I'm on my diet.
Collar bowl.
Color Bowl Sunday. Oh my.
Oh.
There is Damien.
What?
Oh, this is the sermon illustration.
Yeah. And guess what happened? You got blinded by money.
If you zoom in on that, you can see my big muscles.
Better zoom in.
You gotta zoom in though.
Oh, is that what you got to do?
This with the red shirts won this one, right? The red shirts somehow cheated and won.
There's the sheriff.
That was craziness.
You hit that a little bit harder. So everybody
I
can-
sure can if you want. Well, there's the points though. If you look at that, yeah, it was over.
I love Jeannie. She's a blessing.
Was that the last Sunday? The
Not the collar war.
Second to last, I
second
think.
last.
Husker.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Bowl.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
She cried like the whole time.
Yeah, we had she had all
9
that
months ago.
stuff in her face.
It wasn't even.
Husker Bowl. There's your last
There you
Sunday.
go.
Yeah.
Husker Bowl.
That's where
Mrs. Reed.
Jeremy and Damien wrestled
Collided.
each other to the ground, and they all whined the next 2 hours. It hurts.
There it is.
There it is.
There's your picture.
That is the actual moment when it all happened.
And that was after
Look
Damien
at
picked it.
Jeremy.
That's after Damien picked the ball up off the ground because I know he didn't.
Uh-oh.
I know he didn't catch it.
He cheated.
There we are.
And that's the losing team.
No. That was the winning team. Come on now. There's Johnny running there. I'm yelling at little kids. Run this way. Oh, that's it. Next thing on our list was Christmas play.
Awesome.
Can't go that far. Nope.
That's it. That covers Don't Be Trippin'. That's what we did from whatever those dates were.
For the fall
October.
For the fall
program.
program.
19th
So-
through the...
6 weeks. So next
Now
week.
you're learning what takes place between our broadcasts, so maybe it'll help you not to be tripping.
Yeah.
So let's go to a song.
All right, let's do it. We are going. I have a bunch of songs sent to me. I don't know which one it is. Is it the first one that was sent to me? Okay. First one is Win the Lost at Any Cost. This is by Commonwealth Baptist College.
As we look around us, all the fields are white, ripened unto harvest, and so swiftly comes the night. Christians must get busy, there is work to do. Here's an urgent task awaiting you. Souls are crying, men are dying. Won't you lead them to the cross? Go and find them. Help to win them. Win the lost at any cost. Check your fold, my Christian. Are the children in? Are there yet some straying, lost in blackened fields of sin? You must go and reach them. Go without delay. Soon the shades of night will end the day. Souls are crying, men are dying. Won't you lead them to the cross? Go and find them. Help to win them. Win the lost at any cost. Go out and win. Rescue from sin. Day's almost done. Low sinks the sun. Souls are crying. Men are dying. Win the lost at any cost. Win the lost at any cost.
Good evening, and welcome to another edition of Issues of Life. Life is lived in seasons. The issues that challenge a 6-year-old are different from the issues that challenge a 16-year-old. The battles of a young married couple are different from those faced by someone raising children. The struggles of middle age are different from those experienced in retirement. Yet every stage of life presents decisions that shape our future. Tonight, we turn our attention to one of the most influential seasons of all, the teenage years. For many young people, these are years filled with questions. Who am I? Where do I belong? What kind of person am I going to become? Will people accept me if I stand for what is right? The teenage years can be exciting, but they can also be dangerous. During this season, friendships become incredibly important. Acceptance becomes highly valued, and the desire to fit in can become stronger than the desire to do right. Many teenagers who were raised with good values and strong convictions find themselves facing enormous pressure from friends, social media, school environments, and popular culture. The temptation is not always to do something terrible. Often the pressure is simply to compromise just a little, to laugh at something you know is wrong, to participate in something you know is unwise, or to remain silent when you should stand for truth. The Bible gives a powerful warning in Proverbs 13:20. He that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion or friend of fools shall be destroyed. The people who choose to the people we choose to walk with today will greatly influence where we arrive tomorrow. But there's another side of this issue that I hope we discuss tonight. There are some teenagers listening who have been blessed with parents that have protected them from many harmful outside influences. They have been taught right from wrong. They have been given boundaries, guidance, and biblical truth. Yet, many of those same teenagers face a different challenge. Sometimes they feel alone, not because they want to rebel, and not because they're looking for trouble, but because they genuinely want to live for God. They discover that not everyone who claims to be a Christian is serious about following Christ. They find themselves wanting to obey God, honor their parents, stay morally clean, remain faithful to church, and take their faith seriously. Sometimes that can make a young person feel like they don't fit in anywhere. The world thinks they are too Christian. Some Christians think they are too serious, and they begin to wonder if anyone else feels the way they do. If that describes you tonight, I want you to know that you are not alone. Throughout Scripture, God has always had young people who chose conviction over convenience and truth over popularity. So tonight, we're going to discuss peer pressure, identity struggles, friendships, rebellion, worldly influences, and the challenge of standing for what is right when it seems like few others care. I want the men around this table to help us answer some important questions. How do friends shape our future? Why is acceptance so powerful during the teenage years? And how can young people develop confidence in Christ instead of confidence in a crowd? And how can a teenager remain faithful when they feel lonely in their desire to live a real and consistent life for Christ? Because the truth is this: you never have to become worldly to be valuable. You just don't. You never have to compromise truth to gain friends. And you never have to fit into the crowd to become the person God wants you to be. The issues of life, and tonight we are facing the teenage years, the pressure to fit in. And so with that, I will turn it loose to whoever wants to jump in.
I think you hit the nail on the head when it comes to one of the, I don't know if you would say vices, but struggles that you deal with as a young person that's will follow you the rest of your life, but is important when it comes to your teen years because you're moldable and shapeable, is peer pressure and not allowing yourself to become pressure to do the wrong thing. Of course, I remember being a teenager not too long ago, and naturally you want to fit in. It's a time in your life where, I guess I don't know about everybody else, but I felt awkward all the time. If you don't know sometimes you don't know what to say, you don't know how to act, and you're becoming more aware of everybody who's around you, and you want to naturally fit in with life. And I think the biggest thing that helps in this area is making sure that you have the right pressure around you. And I was thankful for I say childhood, do you say teenage years, where of course, to some extent, it was easy because you filtered my life when it comes to peer pressure, because I wasn't in an environment where there was a lot of opportunities to have the wrong friends. We were in a Christian school. It was small, and that's not bad. I mean, I feel like that's like a negative thing when you say that in fundamentalism today. Small church, small school.
Let me just add something there. There's some of those aspects I controlled, but the size of the school I did not.
Right.
So it was just, I had to teach you guys, look, I have no control over the size of our school. This is where God put us. He put us in a town of 22 people. So you're going to be lonely. Just like Mom and I are out here in the backside of the desert. We don't have people fellowship. A lot of people go to the mission field and come off of it and say, we didn't have any fellowship. To serve God, you're going to have to be able to stand alone. And that goes for teenagers too. If you can't learn when you're young to stand alone, you're going to have a hard time protecting yourself from bad influences, because it's just going to come that way.
Yeah, it reminds me of 1 Corinthians, where it talks about evil communications, communications,
corrupt good manners.
Corrupt good manners. I mean, you can have good intentions, a way of life that you want to live, things that you want to do that's right. But your communication, who you communicate with, who you allow to communicate, it will affect how you walk, how you talk, how you live. And it will ruin your good intentions, and your friendships matter. And maybe it would be, you guys could give a little bit light because you didn't grow up, obviously, in the same church, same situation. But for me, being involved in the bus ministry, being involved in church ministries, or even when it comes to our, I say extended family, there was always opportunity to build friendships that weren't healthy. And this was a point that was hammered home to us as young people, especially teenagers. And I remember struggling, maybe not quite so much as a teenager, but as a young person going into teen years, of wanting that friendship. Because, we're a small ministry. It's natural to want that friendship and want that social life to an extent.
You remember when those kids left the church? They had a big family. And you said something to Mom about that, about, well, my friends are leaving.
Yeah. Yeah, learning. And that's a kind of an aspect I think Christian kids need to embrace, learn, is that as you serve in the ministry, if you're a pastor's kid, deacon's kid, just a faithful layman's kid, you're going to see people come and go, and learning to serve the Lord through all of that. Whether, I think you mentioned learning to be alone, serving the Lord, you don't have to have all those friends. And as you get older, that's one thing I've learned, is friendship is important. Having the right friends is important. But making the right people your friends
is so much better than having a lot of
more
friends.
important. Yeah, it's not so much about, hey, I need all these friends. And you taught us that as growing up, especially as kids, where you said your best friend should be your brothers and your sisters. That's hard for JT.
Yeah, a little bit.
But your best friend should be those that you see at church on Sunday night. Your best friend should be in the school with you, and but your best friend really should be those that are already in your family. And embracing the right kind of friendship helps you, because one, they're more steady. You don't have to worry about them. Leaving. Your family's kind of stuck with you. You're stuck with your family. And throughout all the years of ministry, growing up, that's one thing that I was grateful for, is that, one, I chose to make friends out of my siblings, and two, that the home that we had, you made sure that we operated in a way where you could be friends with your family, whether that was doing activities, going out and, whether it's vacation,
shooting BB guns at tanks.
Yeah. Doing all the bad things with no, I'm just kidding. But also ministry things. Because we served together. Everything that we did, it wasn't like we have to be
shooting
together.
BB guns at, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Ministry things.
But we got to serve together, whether it was construction that we were doing growing up, or whether it was visiting our bus routes, or going soul winning, whatever it was. Small church also brings with it, you get to serve. And you make friends out of the right people in your life. And then you realize, as I've gotten older, you don't really need that many friends. You just, I'll let you guys talk. I feel like I'm talking. Can I finish with this?
I thought you were done.
I was going to finish with this. This week we heard a pastor was preaching on Wednesday night, and he used an illustration where he was at a youth conference, and whoever was preaching at that conference had all of the workers and the married staff, basically everybody that wasn't a teenager, stand up. And he said, I want everybody that's standing up, all the teenagers look at him, and he said, now if you're an adult and you're standing right now, I want you to sit down if you still have a close friendship or relationship with your high school friends. Nobody
Everybody
said
no,
yeah. And nobody had any friends back from there. And he used that to say, why will you allow yourself to be peer pressured into making life altering decisions from those that you feel are important in your life right now, but in 10 years, you're not going to spend time with them. You're not going to talk to them. You're not going to text them. It's just, they're not going to be a part of your life. So make sure that you find the right peer pressure in your life, which should be your authority. It should be the Word of God. It should be those who go to church.
Let me just say something on that end. I've learned through the years that almost every friend turns their back on you eventually because they choose somebody else. They choose another friendship. They choose a relationship with the opposite sex. Whatever it is, they end up, you become very minute in their world, and you're not as important to them as they originally make you feel, or you make yourself believe. So learning early in life to have Jesus as a friend, man, that'll get you, because he'll never leave you or forsake you.
Amen.
Yeah.
Right.
On the topic of friends, when I was in 6th grade, I had a friend. I was going to a Christian school. It was a pretty good Christian school. It wasn't the church that I was attending. And because it wasn't my church, I feel like some of them, they saw each other every day of the week, basically, except for me. And so I didn't quite fit in quite as well. Maybe I was a little weird. Probably not.
Probably not. I don't know about
Everyone
that.
else is weird. That's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Anyways, so, but I did make a few friends, especially early on, and I attended there from 1st to 9th. But in 6th grade, some of the friends that I made, they made the decision to be bad, and I was friends with them. And well, I wanted to continue being friends with them. They were kind of my only friend. And so consequently, I kind of went down that same pathway. He started listening to rap, got me to start listening to rap. Wasn't really my thing. I kind of switched over to country and CC.
That's so much better for a white guy.
I was like, this is music? What? Anyways.
Broad definition.
So it kind of got me going down that wrong path. And like you said, so we're still friends? Yeah, the next year he wasn't even at the school anymore. And so, I could have stood, but I didn't. But it still kind of set me down that heading down more towards the wrong road. But I'm very thankful for my youth pastor, which I wasn't quite a teen then, but once I became a teen, I got more involved, started going out on soul winning Saturdays and everything. I'm not saying that everything was perfect, but his influence in my life got me listening to more to the right type of music and that sort of thing. And we were a ways away from church, so it wasn't like I was hanging out at church all the time. I was, of course, there Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night. And then eventually I became homeschooled. But the point I'm trying to get across is get connected to your youth pastor, especially at our church, we have a youth pastor. And if you go to a church that has a youth pastor and you're a youth, they want kids on board. Right. You want kids on board, right? You don't want,
of course, yeah.
And get connected there. Because they're going to be a good influence in your life. I was going
to mention the fact that one of the keys getting connected is getting around the right people.
Right.
And coming from the youth pastor's perspective, which I think all of us, to a certain extent, whether it's youth pastor or bus captain or whatever, you can only get involved in their lives as much as they want. I mean, you can knock on their door on Saturday and you can be like, hey, come to church. But if you want to be around the right type of people, that's got to be your choice. You've got to want it. And that's huge, making sure that you get connected.
Yeah. Well, I remember growing up, I was extraordinarily isolated in Japan. It's just our family in there. So even more so than
water around you.
Oh, it's an island situation right there. No English speaking people. No,
that's the best way of doing it.
most of the fellowship we had, or people that we would consider friends, were other missionary families, but we only saw them once or twice a year. And most of those good friends, good families, of course, their families were on the field, full-time Christian servants, just like being in a pastor's homes, just that kind of thing. So, but every time we got together, it was once a year. It was our annual Bible conference or whatever it was called. I forget what it was called, but we went and we had preaching, we had activities together, we had a lot of fellowship together. So those were good times. We looked forward to them. Good times rubbing shoulders with other kids about our age that were at least in a Christian home.
That's where you went wrong.
It was.
Just 6-inch rule. You rubbing shoulders with them.
Thankfully.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, well.
I was going to say, hopefully it was only the boys that you did that to, but that sounds weird, too.
Wow. Okay, David. We're not going down that road anymore. We had a few other families that were in our area. I say in our area. They were in bicycle distance. Now, bicycle distance is like 45 minutes to an hour one way. That was always fun. And in Japan, it's all hills. The stories going to school uphill in the ways. 2 feet of snow, uphill both ways. Barefoot. It's quite literally uphill both ways in Japan. So just to say, it is possible, people, for that to happen. There's one family I remember we were pretty close to. The thing is, I am honestly not 100% certain. I know that the primary reason is because they spoke English, and my dad was very social. He likes to talk to people and just see what they are. But they were of a charismatic background, so they weren't Baptist at all. They were in Japan. I think they originally came over to as part of a ministry of some sort of program. I don't even know how missions works in that kind of a church, but. The dad had actually stopped with that, and he basically did Western weddings for a living. So big in Japan, you pay a lot of money to have a white guy do a Western style wedding.
What is that? What is that? Like cowboys boots?
No. Western, like United States.
Completely just American white wedding dress, tuxedos, that kind of deal.
Billy Idol.
Yeah, and he'll even break out his English.
Wow. Only you
every
would
now
catch
and
that.
then.
Marriage.
Something like that. They probably wouldn't get that. No. Anyway, but that's what they did. They were probably some of the closer friends. I should say we socially interacted with them on a much more regular basis than like the missionary kids. Their 3 older boys were about, and my 2 older brothers were all about the same age. So it was Jason, Jeremy, and Josh were the 3 oldest boys. So we were good friends with them. They were into like techie stuff. So that was back when digital cameras were coming out, and they still recorded it on like tapes or like video. I don't know. It's not it wasn't completely 100% digital. SD cards were still not a thing. But they were into that kind of thing. They were homeschooled the same as we were, but they were pushing toward good grades and taking their ACTs, SATs, and that kind of stuff. So that's kind of what the interchange and exchange was on that kind of level, I guess. But one of the things that I remember growing up was it was really the peer pressure wasn't let's go, listen to rap or anything like that. They didn't have that kind of they weren't that bad. Mm-hmm. But they were more they were raising their kids to be secularly minded, to go into the world, I know one of their oldest son went to Wheaton, I think is in Illinois. Used to be a decent college way back in the 1800s, but is now definitely not anywhere near that at all. But went there, got a secular degree in, I don't even know. So I just remember growing up, and my objective, when I was getting done with high school, I was originally going to go and try and go to Christian liberal arts college and get electronic or it was an engineering degree in something. Oh, okay. No, not computers. That's my brother.
Electronic engineering.
Yeah. So, and that was what I was interested in. I liked that subject matter and that kind of thing, so it kind of jived with it. But of course, when I got back to the States, my parents had recommended. Of course, I went back to my home church and I was talking with my pastor, and that whole thing changed my dynamic. And of course, I gave my life to the Lord around that same time, and that's why I went to.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Okay. So we're hearing a lot of dynamics about how you grew up. Mm-hmm. and a lot of red flags for me.
Oh yeah,
were going off, and but people see you now. You have married preacher's daughter, you're assistant pastor, you're serving at a church, and they'd be tempted to say, "You turned out. Why can't I fellowship with Christians that aren't Baptist, independent Baptist?" But the reality is, as you said, your love for electronic engineering might have been influenced also by their desires and interest. And then it wasn't until you got a different association, coming back to the States, getting around your home pastor, getting involved in ministries there, that God changed you in that area. So it just speaks to how influences affect your direction.
Exactly. So, I mean, one of the things that I do know, and I remember my dad was really good about, was trying to explain like the differences between like, well, why do we even hang out with them? What do we, I mean, they were good friends as far as they were English speaking. Like I said, I kind of started it with that. It's just because they were from America. They were Americans. So kind of had that. I mean, it's not like we were out there 24/7 with them, but it was on a monthly, probably.
Well, I didn't say that to run your dad down.
No. I know where you're going from. The association
I'm saying
changed.
For you, your personal testimony is you're exposing the actual direct what we were talking about. But it can be left to reason that today down the street there's some Pentecostals who dress right, have dress standards, but they have bad influences.
Right.
And it could be inferred, left open, that you might say, it's okay, kids, you don't have very many friends. I'm going to monitor that situation.
Oh, yes.
And you would permit it. Is that what you're saying, that you would permit it? Okay. But it could be inferred and read into that way. So I wasn't trying to criticize anything. I'm just saying I think it's important because we're asking teenagers to learn to stand on their own 2 feet. And you gave a bunch of illustration how fellowship was sought out based on people being an American, based on Christianity, and it still affected you.
Oh, yes.
In a negative light.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to, because you did turn out pretty decent.
Eventually.
Pretty decent guy. And,
but it wasn't until, like you were saying, that I had gotten into a different environment that the steps that I took to get me to where I am today. Because if I hadn't have gone back to that environment, or if I'd stuck with my original plan, because ultimately the reason I went to a ministry college was because of the advice of my pastor.
Sure.
So, because originally I said, well, okay, I was going to go and do blah, blah, blah for a year, and see what the Lord directed. But then he said, "Do what?
They have degrees in that?"
And blah, blah, blah.
That's pretty much what all the other
that
degrees
is.
are.
That is the 1 year. That's what Ricardo was almost going to get, but then thankfully he changed his mind. The blah 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 degree.
Yeah.
He's a real degree.
He needs to get a real one.
When you're a young person, every degree is a blah 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 degree.
I don't even know what he's talking about. So, but some of the biggest influences I remember growing up as a teenager. And again, I can't say that I'm just bringing that all up because I really didn't have a group of kids that I was, leading me into the wrong music or into the wrong, or smoking weed or doing drugs. Didn't have that.
Which brings me to another subject matter, because when I think about the fact that we started the Brook for our church, I want to kind of adjust our conversation to be beneficial to our kids, our church kids. So we have families in our church, and we have the staff members' kids and all that. And it can be very lonely. I think sometimes they can look, it's like being raised inside a goldfish bowl. You can look out and watch everybody else seem to have a good time. And, the reality is standing by yourself is necessary for Christianity. When I say by yourself, with Christ, and having that relationship and growing to that point that you do what you do, not because you're told to do it, but because you love the Lord, and He is all you need. Christ is all I need. He's all I need.
Yeah.
You grew up in a very closed environment because you were taken to mission field where nobody spoke any English, and you didn't speak Japanese, a little bit, but not enough to build real solid relationships. So parents didn't maybe worry as much because they knew that. But reflecting back on those days, how much bitterness, how many questions did you have? Were you ever sitting there thinking, it's not fair. Why did God make me go to this place? And, I think some of those questions can be even in our young people's minds. And then secondly, maybe some of you, I know you can speak to it. When we look at our families being friends with our brothers and sisters, or like someone like you who's an only child, you're a friend with your dad and mom, those become your major roles. The fact is they're human, and the fact is that you can go to church and hear the messages preached and say, my own parents don't even do that. Fact is, then they get angry with you. They're freer to act less than what they should act. And that puts you into an even more frustrating thing, because you can't correct your parents. And if you try to correct your parents, then it's like World War III. So I think speaking to that some and trying to encourage our listeners, our young people, that, reality is your parents aren't perfect, your pastor's not perfect, the world's not perfect. But your friends, even if you had all those friends you wanted, they wouldn't be perfect. They'd let you down too. Mm-hmm. So somewhere in your life and in your life, you had to decide that Christ was, you were going to settle for Christ and build that relationship with him. I think even in adulthood, you had a friend that you eventually realized, not what I thought he was, and it was difficult. It's hard. It's actually painful. Mm-hmm. It's hurtful. But with teenagers, they struggle because not only do they not have that, and they wish they did, but if their mind is questioning all those aspects because they don't get to go through it. So it builds somewhat of a resentment. And it's hard to look at teenagers as a pastor, know the environment they live in is 10 times better than the average kid in the world. Mm-hmm. They have 10 times better parents than the average kid in the world. But the things that are causing the problem is that they have all of the reality in their eyes, and they're having a hard time digesting that. So, I give you permission to expose me. I'm, as a wonderful man that I am, but I've already owned pretty much everything that I did wrong, all two things. So.
Yeah. What was the first question?
Yeah, I was literally just thinking. I was like, what was the first part? What was the first question? Was it?
The first question was No. What was the first question? I had a good answer for that one. But, did I feel bitter? Yeah. Right. Okay. Honestly, I didn't, because I didn't know anything different. I was like, we came back to the States when I was in 8. So for 3rd grade, I was in the Christian school at our home church. It was fun. I remember it really well. But
so that's a good point. That's a really good point, because you didn't know different, and you didn't know different, but you did. And so, I'm think about our kids when we're answering these questions. That makes sense, that you can grow up and somebody could actually look at you and go, why do you not struggle? Why are you not mad? Well, it's just all you know. It's like, well, we've always used Miracle Whip in the tuna fish, or we've always used mayonnaise.
Mayo?
Yeah,
what?
Right. We've just always done that. So it wasn't a matter of getting bitter. But when you do have people who get saved later, adults, and then they bring their children in, and their children know 2 different worlds.
Right. That would be different.
Yeah.
So I can't speak to that, but knowing...
No, you could spep from Bible principle.
I can speak from Bible principle as knowing what you left, you have to make the decision on a personal, on your own, that what you're choosing, and when you choose to follow the Lord, it's better. You have to trust that. If you don't trust that, then of course you're going to get bitter. If the Lord doesn't have everything you ever need, and you want to look back at the world and see, but if love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If the love of if any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. Yeah. So you've got to choose between one or the other. And if God in the Bible is all that he says he is, then you've got to believe that. It's just a faith issue. It's good. And it's a very, I say just a faith issue. Oh, it's just a faith issue. Mm-hmm. It literally is that simple, but it's harder. You've got to activate it. You've got to live it. You've got to do it. Mm-hmm. So you can't just... grew up, I remember when I was 4, us flying to Japan. So literally that was like one of my earliest Yeah, flying. It was a long flight, flapping our arms that whole time. Yeah, but so I was quite literally all of my conscious remembered life, except for like 2 or 3 small things before that. It's all in Japan.
Yeah,
growing up, except for the 1 year when I was 8. But that was all in a Christian environment. My parents were involved with a bus route that year.
Would you recommend to our kids to get to the place of yielding and being grateful for being delivered from that other life?
Yeah.
Because they have to cross that divide and actually choose to place themselves into knowing nothing else.
Right.
You have to forget the things that were and concentrate on what you have.
Right. Because take a look at your parents. Because if they came out of the world and started living for God, then you can just look at the problems that they deal with their families.
The marks on their lives.
The marks on their lives, the relationships they have with their other family that haven't made those decisions, and sit back and ask the questions, why? What's going on? And ask yourself, do I want that kind of a life?
Yeah.
If you want that kind of life, biggest exposure I have to it, TV. It's like, that's the good light that the world puts on those lives, and it's horrible. Why would you want that?
Well, it doesn't expose this. It's like the Cosby Show. I asked my father-in-law. I said, "What's wrong with the Cosby Show?" And he said, "It's probably the most dangerous because it only shows humor, good things, but it never shows the judgment that comes and the penalty for sin and how it bites. Everything's a joke, even bad things. It's all a joke, and it turns. So when you have TV as your only focal point, it really kind of messes with your head on what reality is.
Exactly. And so if they take the note of what has happened in their parents' lives, ask questions the right way, learn from it, and then you can make those decisions better. But or I should say, you can be more determined to keep your decisions, to keep living for the Lord.
Yeah.
I think the path is going to be different for every single situation as far as who you're around. Exactly. You said you grew up in Japan. That offers a different environment than, say, what I grew up in or even what JT grew up in. But the destination is the same for everybody. And that's one of the things that we talk about. I teach all the time in Sunday school class. It's the 101 of Christianity, and that is you have to give your life to the Lord. I say a generality, but I mean, it's so true. At the end of the day, that has to guide you. And I remember as a young person, I had to decide at some point that my life is God's. And I remember coming across this verse. I'm pretty sure you probably preached it or read it at some point, but I remember in 1 Corinthians 6:19, which we're all familiar with this, says, "What? Know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost, which is in you?" I often would use this to talk about sanctification or separation. But then it goes on, it says, "Which ye have of God, and ye are not your own, for ye are bought with a price. Therefore glorify God in your body and in your spirit, which are God's." I remember consciously making a decision as a young person of why am I in the family that I'm in? Why am I in the church that I'm in? And I remember constantly you reaffirmed that as you preached and said, hey, you weren't born into a banker's life, a banker's home. You weren't even born into a home that has, a broken home with 2 parents that lived in different homes and, a stepbrother or anything like that. You were given so much. And even just today, I was talking to some family members of some bus kids that we have. And I said, one of my views on young people and teenagers is I feel like I owe it to them when they're coming to church and they're trying to serve the Lord. They're not perfect, but they're reaching out, trying. I didn't have that struggle. Not that I didn't have struggles, but I was given so much. And realizing as a young person that I owe my life to God. I owe it to him. It is his, regardless of if I in my mind give it to him or not, it is his. And making that decision has got to be a personal choice. It has at some point, you're 13, 14, 15, 16, there has to be a point where it's not about friends. Right. You have to and that comes from a walk with God. I mean, obviously you have to be saved, but if you don't have a time where you're reading the Bible, where you're getting alone with God, and I'm not saying a general do you have a Bible time at 6:30? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, have you seen God interact in your life? Have you seen God answer prayer? Have you heard God speak to you as you read his word? Because I had those moments. And when I had those moments and I heard what the Lord was trying to tell me, I realized, man, it doesn't matter what kind of friendships I have. It doesn't matter who I'm enjoying the friendship that I have now, but then they're not here in the future. It doesn't matter what kind of pulls I have when it comes to temptation or what kind of life I want to live. At the end of the day, my life is the Lord's, and you let that guide you. And it feels like such an easy answer. It's not easy, but it's such a general answer. But it's true. That has to be at the fundamental base, and that has to be then backed up, I think, with consistency at home. I look back at my teen years, and I knew, not that I never saw hypocrisies in my parents. What? Especially and if you don't have I think, say, Peter would probably understand this to a certain extent, but as a young person who's growing up in a preacher's home, you know exactly what type of parents you have. There's no hiding. And then they stand up and they preach something, and you know, well, you struggled with that this week. Yeah. I mean, you think about those things, and here's the thing. I say that's a preacher's kid thing, but that's everybody. I mean, anybody that has a parent that corrects them for something they did, it's so easy to look at. But you, but ultimately, not that I never saw any of those things, but ultimately, I always the major things in life, I knew that you were real in those at home. I knew the things that you preached. I never, for one instance, you never stood up and preached the right kind of music is this, and then you go home and turn on the wrong type of music. Never for one time. Now, you did say you need to have the right kind of spirit, and you went home and had the wrong kind of spirit. So that's the kind of things I'm talking about. Those are human things that we struggle on a daily basis. But the standards of separation, of living your life for the Lord, was consistent. And as a teenager, I remember another thing that you always were very sure to back was the authority that, in my situation, was even more complex, but the authority that you put in my life. Where I remember, especially as a high schooler, being in a Christian school. Peter was with a senior year. He was my teacher in my senior year. I think I kind of had this down before you got there, but no. But I was lying.
You're bitter.
But learning when I was in the school, learning whether it was at youth, the youth pastor that we had at that time, the bus captain, bus director, any area if somebody was over top of me, where it's like I know better because I'm the preacher's kid, or I thought that they did something that I thought was wrong. I learned very quickly I would go to you and be like, hey, there's this problem, whatever. And you would do one or two things. At the beginning, you'd always take it, you'd listen, and you'd be like, and what does that have to do with you? Like, are you dead? I mean, you would always bring it back to and if anybody's ever talked to Pastor about any problems, it's the same. He always brings it to what you need. But I also remembered that you would go out of your way to, if that was a problem, to fix the problem. And I remember sitting in school. I don't even remember what the problem was. It was something stupid. I complained about something that happened in school. And I remember sitting there, you came in, you dealt with the problem. And I remember knowing that nobody would know what happened unless I told Pastor. So I know what that feels like when it's like, oh, so if I complain and then it gets corrected and that teacher looks at me and goes, snitch kind of situation. And so then that filtered in my life what was really important. What was important, not that I didn't say what needed to be, if something was really important to me that I didn't bring it, but bringing it in the right, I taught a lesson on this a while ago in youth class, just reminding me about the difference between, and I don't remember what the other thing was called, but venting and complaining. Okay, venting and complaining, that's what it was. And I said, if you just went to the Lord 9 times out of 10, you wouldn't need to vent, because you would realize, the Lord would remind you, you're not perfect.
So funny. Somebody just said to me, you got in trouble for complaining. And they said, well, I was just venting. And now I know where they got that.
Yeah. Well,
because now the point complaining is venting.
Yeah. Well, that's what sort of the lesson was about, was you don't really need to vent. At the end of the day, I'm not saying you can't talk to your leadership or your authority, and that's what you have to learn as a young person. You have to learn what that balance is. And I remember as a young person learning, you know what, if it's really not that big of a deal, I'm not going home and complaining about every little thing that that my teacher did wrong. If it's really not, now if they were major things and I thought they needed fixed, then I would bring them up. But I just am not. I decided I'm going to worry about me. I'm going to do my work, and that improved my relationship, not just with you, but with my authority. And you know what I learned 10 years later, 11, whatever it is, looking back on the things that I thought were important at that time.
Nothing.
They were not. They weren't important. The things that I thought were important at that, they really weren't. What was important? That I got my goals done. Yeah. That I obeyed the authority. It just what you think is
this too.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, giving the life to the Lord, and then consistency at home, making sure you're not a hypocrite as a parent, and then as a young person, making sure that you learn to live a balanced life.
And it comes back to that one major decision is having a relationship with the Lord. I will say, something that you had, our kids had. That most majority, I never thought it would be this way. When I first started going to church, I mean, divorce was rampant, but it wasn't, I mean, it's like every door we knock on, it's single moms, single parents, divorced people, 2 men, 2 women. I mean, it's so bad that if you're married to the opposite sex for 50 years, you're part of a cult. It's so messed up. But what you had, I watched it, just a huge admiration and a love for your parents, both your mom and I. I remember going on trips with you and you'd ride and, and I could just tell when you're looking at me, asking me a question, it was just like, I was your whole world. If I said the moon was made out of cheese, you said, go Green Bay. I mean, it was pure, and we downgrade, we frown on that with our kids anymore. I think they should look up to us like we're, my dad's bigger than your dad, and our kids grew up that way because Mom and I stayed married. And we stayed right with God, and we were honest when we messed up. We apologized. We shared our heart, and so that transferred. Eventually, when you got saved, I feel like when you got saved, that decision was instantaneous. It's different than some people. They get saved and they still struggle with converting over to loving Jesus because of Jesus. Not that they're not saved, but it's a harder transaction. But for you benefited by the fact that unit was done the way God said to do it. Not perfectly, but, for the most part. And so that transfer, you knew it would make me happy if you pleased God. And so that became your focus. But I know that some kids, like in our church, didn't have that. So that transition is so much more difficult. And if they hang their brain in a negative fashion where they're always mully-grubbing and complaining and looking for a reason to be unhappy, they won't have to look far. And it's going to undercut their chances of success. Go ahead, brother.
So we're talking about teens and all that, and can't help but think of Daniel. But Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with a portion of the king's meat. Yeah. And I think that's something that is so important, something that in my life I didn't do during my teen years. And that set me up for many struggles, and it took me... I'm very thankful for the parents that I had, because, and I don't know if it's because Dad loved politics, and so I kind of view things from a macro, but I never could see myself leaving church ever, because I saw it was everything. Well, it's not even that it was everything. It was, but I saw the families that were together. What you were talking about were together. Then I saw the families that were absolutely devastated. Sometimes not even knowing who their mom or their dad. Well, normally you know who your mom is, but not knowing who your dad is and that sort of thing. I go, I might not love Jesus like I should, but I don't want that. And so that helped me stay in church, is just seeing the future that would be destined if I totally quit on God. but looking back on it, we talked about TV a little bit, and it can be so easy to, watching the Disney Channel, which has been absolutely horrible for Christian teens, I believe.
It's not even worth. It's terrible.
Any teens.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying I'm
right.
saying particularly
No,
Christian
you're right.
teams, because you think of Disney, oh, it's clean, it's good, it's fine,
Yeah.
and it's it's got bad music, it's got bad dress, it's glorifying. I remember Mrs. Tyson talking about how horrible Hannah Montana was, and as a teenager, I was like, I don't get it. Now I'm like, whoa,
Amen to that, preacher.
Exactly right,
Yeah.
I remember that stage. Remember preaching against Hannah Montana.
Goodness, look at where she is now. Anyways,
Saw that coming.
yeah.
And that's one thing about the younger generation, the older generation, like leadership looks back and says, I'm telling you, this is where this is going. It is so easy to just discount that and say, you know what you're talking about. You're too old fashioned. Just the statement that you're old fashioned says, we have seen a thing or two.
Right.
And so maybe you'd be wise to take notice.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I think what happened is you watch TV, you hang out with. I have a couple cousins that whenever I went over there, it wasn't uncommon for the neighbor kids to be over, and then they were all into the stuff that I didn't even know about. Not necessarily like evil stuff, just worldly things, cartoons or TV shows or whatever. And of course, they were looking at me saying I had all the freedom. I was looking at them saying they had all the freedom. And anyways, ultimately, I think it's important that you purpose in your heart, and you choose the godly things over the secular things, the worldly things, maybe even the fun things. You look at that and you say, "Oh, it's so much fun." Okay, I've ridden. I have no idea how many roller coasters. Yeah, it was fun. So what? What's it matter? I've played how many basketball games? Yeah, it was fun. And
Yeah.
I've played how many? What does it matter? None of that is important. Yeah, it's fun in the moment, but you're not building anything.
Does it have
your
eternal
teen years
value?
is where you start building things. Teen years is when you're still in school, you're learning a lot, and you can learn in your Bible. I just took Preston out because I got him a milkshake because I had him memorize John 3, 14 through 18, and I can't tell you how many times I memorized that. At some point, I don't know how old I was. I don't know whether I was a teen or in elementary school, but I'll be teaching Sunday school or whatever, and I'll just rattle off that verse just in the middle because it applies to whatever I'm teaching on. And it's so
And
important.
it's the only verse you ever learned.
Yeah, right.
Isn't that funny how those verses you memorized as a kid, they just stick with you? Some of those, they just
you
stick
memorize
with
it
you.
1 week, never look back on it. 30 years later, you just quote it like it was yesterday. Yeah, it's wild. Anyways, but doing that and purposing in your heart when you're young, you can truly set yourself up to make a big impact for God, to do great things for God. And even if okay, I think of Gabby. She might not be quite on the point of being like, hey, I want to go out and be a missionary's wife. Okay.
Yep.
Start with being a Green Bay Packers fan. Because Chicago ham and bears ain't cutting it.
But purposing in her life to have a maybe a family one day like her youth pastor has, or her bus captain has, or her pastor has, or whatever.
And they can have it.
Exactly.
They can.
Exactly. But that takes starting to make those decisions
They
now.
can't have it their way. They can have it if they do it God's way.
And when it comes to making the decisions now, that's 100% true. Whether you are a young person that comes from a split home where your parents don't go to church and you're a bus kid riding on the buses, or you're a church kid where your parents come to church, you actually have to make those conscious decisions yourself. I talked about this last week in class where I said, what if your parents didn't go to church at all? What would you be doing? What would you do? And that's like the, would you use the term macro? That's the wide angle version of, but what I learned when I was looking back as a teenager, I made those decisions on the small things. When I could have complained about rules, or I could have made the wrong decisions when I was by myself. You know, it wasn't always the big decisions like, am I going to go to church today? Because those are already made for me. But all that gray area where you as a teenager, you still make those decisions yourself. Are you really sold out? Will be seen in those small decisions, in those small areas. Whereas I think for some of the bus kids, we see those in the bigger areas because they've got to make those decisions of coming to church, dressing right, listening to the right kind of music.
Are they going to take it when a teacher tells them something super small that really ultimately isn't that big of a deal? No, but the teacher sees where it's going, whatever, and your attitude towards that is the tell.
Yep. And teenagers need to remember. Sorry, P. I think you were saying something.
No, I'm listening.
Teenagers need to remember that. Don't put all of the burden of living spiritually on your parents' backs. I mean, you can
Daniel's purpose.
Yeah, turn it around a little bit. Maybe you pick up the burden, and instead of making your parents have to be the bigger Christian or the better person or person that leads you, why don't you lift up their arms? You make the decisions in the specific areas of life. You make those, and instead of being a burden on your parents, you be a help. You be the one that's pushing them, not because you're pointing your finger at them, telling them what they should do, but because you're not a problem. You're just serving the Lord.
I was talking to Victor today, and we were talking a little bit about this morning, trying to help him understand. And I made some comment, and I was like, "Yeah," and you weren't paying a lick of attention. And I was just fired up about what I was talking about. And he was like, "What? I'm sorry. You know, what did I do?" And I was like, "I'm sorry. I'm not actually mad at you. I'm just, I'm fired up about this." And I said, and that's a perfect example of, okay, yes, I caught myself. You said something, and so I was able to know. Okay, I'm not mad. But he could have easily, if he hadn't reacted, just gotten bitter inside and be like, "Oh, CJT's always just out to get me," or whatever.
Yeah. As he takes me out to get a milkshake.
No, I know that was Victor. That was Victor.
Oh, Victor.
Preston.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that popped in my head was there's a struggle, and I've come to do it. I came out of the world. Mom's married, divorced 5 times. Never met my real dad. Stepfather stepped in for 13 years, and I felt did a very good job considering what he had to work with. But something we're not doing quite, even in Christian homes, in our Christian homes, in a way that we're afraid to do it because the recovering funding crowd has labeled it as abusive. And I'm not talking about physical discipline, although, no, but I think if you want help sticking with God, if you will look at sin the way God looks at sin, we're supposed to love what God loves, hate what God hates. Those just are words you can't change. You can't dumb them down. And I heard you made a statement earlier. And a lot of times we do that trying to be fair and just and not sound like an extremist. I, however, don't mind at all sounding like I'm extreme. But you said, they're not real bad, they're not evil. And that's pretty much where we take a left. Because our kids hear that and they think, oh, okay, so you're unbalanced because you're making this. And so, but it's the direction that it takes them which really seals the deal. When you love the Lord, you see how that takes that direction. So is there evil in it? Well, no, but what if I said it will ultimately lead to your demise? Now, is it evil enough? So learning to make sin exceedingly sinful. So I don't think there's a sin at all in having a beard. Now, Jesus had a beard. But because of our society and because of our movement and how it has progressed and how at least for me, I'm only 58, maybe I'll learn something when I get older. Everybody that has gone that direction and allowed facial hair lacks their ability to divide and be strong in areas. And they always go towards apostasy and weakening and softness. And where does that drive us to? And we have a whole generation of young people that look at us in our in some areas of our life where we stand up and we say, this is wrong. But, our Southern gospel music isn't really that evil. It's kind of like I was joking. He said about rap. And he said, and it's just prevalent. It's how you grew up. Well, it's not as bad. Well, in my house, it's just as bad.
Yeah.
I mean, we measure sin by degrees. God doesn't. So which would you rather me do? Kick you in the face or spit in your face? Well, spit in my face. I mean, it wouldn't hurt, So we measure sin in degrees. But as long as you teach your children to measure sin, right and wrong, by degrees, you will always send them to left field. And it's not just send them to left field, they just get so frustrated inside. They can't understand. Why is this dead wrong, but this is okay? It's the classic argument on men having short hair. Well, where in the Bible does it say man have, is there a tape measure? Is there a measurement? How long? How long is too long? And they can't grasp them in their head. So I don't think men having longer hair than I do is a sin, but I purposely I look at that verse and say, well, I don't think God's telling me to shave my head, but he does give me a natural taper line, so I'll just, line where my hair starts, so I'll just keep it there. It's just safe. So that's the standard I use for all of my workers, all of my college students. And we can sit and argue about it and discuss it. We can sit and talk about country music. We can talk about Southern gospel music, all different genres. But I'm looking at what is it, this society doing with it? And because culture has become king, to stand against culture is to isolate your world, to make your world very small. And what do we go back to the beginning of this? That teenagers need to learn to stand with Christ, no matter what. Their world is small. But I got news for you. There's more joy in my little world with Jesus than any world with all these other things and no Savior. So somewhere along the line, they had to figure that out.
I think were you going to say something, Pete?
No.
The statement that, I literally thought you were going to say something. The statement, your direction determines your destination. And as teenagers, as parents, as Christians in general, you can't just make decisions based off of where somebody's at or where you're at or where your friends are at the moment. You have to look at where they're leaning. Where you lean, where you're going to fall. And that's something that I have learned from your leadership, especially. And some people can't wrap their mind around it. But the degrees of prudence, of putting the fence up before the cliff, has always been, other people may label as extreme. I label as ultra safe. It is, there's a direction here. There's a line of influence. There's where did this come from? There's, hey, this could possibly go this way. So let's just be careful and prudent and aware and make sure that we set the line here so that we avoid that pitfall in its entirety. And I think that aided me as a young person in a lot of ways, especially when it comes as a teenager, your influence that you have.
We're seeing in our ministry young people's lives changing, and it's a smaller ministry. So, of course, we have big appetites here, wanting to see a lot of young people get saved and get on fire for God. But as a youth pastor and a bus director going out and talking to these parents and working with these kids, there's times where you come to me and say, Pastor, this kid's really progressing. Wouldn't it be good for her to be in the Christian school or him to be in the Christian school? Yeah, let's do that. And then having to talk to the parents, and they're not coming to church. I'm looking for that meeting to go one of two ways. Parents are negative, don't want anything to do, and you can ask questions. Well, why is that? There's no change. But when you go and you talk to them and they go, oh, let me tell you something, we're for her or him being involved in the church. They don't listen to the wrong music anymore. They listen to Canaan Radio. Their attitude is different. Church has helped them big time. That's a teenager getting a hold of Jesus, not getting a hold of a church, but getting a hold of Jesus. That's changing them. And that fuels the ability for us to go help them even further. Their parents want that change. So I think, ultimately young people, teenagers listening to this, you got to understand how important it is for you to obey your authorities, for that is right in the Lord. But to understand your individuality is not wrapped in you, it's wrapped in Christ. Making decisions based on what the Bible says, what Jesus says, and not being afraid to own it. Lock, stock, and barrel. And, you'll have to make sin exceedingly sinful. You'll have to look at it. Although you don't look at people that way, you look at sin that way. And sometimes I'll say things like I've said things about people with beards. I'm not looking at people like looking at them saying they're evil, they're bad people. They can be perfectly good people. I mean, they love the Lord. They, the salt of the earth kind of folks. But in this one area, this is something I just don't want affecting our movement and our church in the sense. So this is our standard. Now, if you have a different one, that's fine. And Brother House he always said, try out your product. Let's see the results. Well, I haven't seen the results of, that kind of thing being a good thing. It always leads to doctrinal things and emotional things and whining about the past and how they were brought up and calling the old preachers battle axes in a negative light. We don't need a generation like that. People, if we're going to change the world, our younger generation has to get on the same page with God. Right. Not with me, with God. And being aware of the situations that are in this world and what is going on in this world, watching how you got people, fully grown adults kneeling in the street screaming, no, because Trump was elected. How literally juvenile and unstable is that? For men and women to not be able to have their own bathrooms, what is going on? That the Supreme Court, the highest courts in the land, strike down no transgenders in the military, strike it down because they feel like that would be discriminating. It's not discriminating. They are either a man or a woman. It is one of the two. It's like, this is so moronic. I told David the other day, I said, I could save Starbucks like billions of dollars. Instead of he put a sign with a man, a woman, and then between, was it a half a figure?
It was a half, it was half pants, half skirt.
It says this is a all gender bathroom.
Yeah.
Do you know how you could do the same thing? You just put the word bathroom.
Right. I just got hung up on the fact they still classify ladies as wearing dresses and guys wearing pants. That's crazy.
That's because they know. They know. And there's no erasing that. We'll never be able to erase it. But this is where Trump is right. It is a mental illness. There is no way around it. It is a mental illness that we as parents have fed in our children because we haven't pushed them towards Christ to develop a relationship with the Lord. And that is the result of things. We need to end this session and go on. Let's have a song.
Yeah, we promise this next segment will be shorter than last week. We will get out of here. It's JT's fault because he's never usually down here, and all of a sudden we can't stay in time, right? Yeah. I'm kidding. All right, we're going to go to, don't forget that you can request a song by texting us 920-940-8275. We're going to Prodigal Son by a Committed Quartet.
Like a prodigal son, I had wandered in darkness and had traded my life for a worldly good time. No peace in my heart I ever could find, and I got so tired of feeding after the swine. So I believe I'll go home and eat with the Father. The table is spread. The table is spread. And they're waiting for me. I can see the Father coming down to greet me. And Lord, I'm willing to be. Lord, I'm willing to be just a servant for thee. Like the prodigal son, I wandered from Jesus, but the good shepherd saw through the heat and the cold, the 99 he left in the fold. So I believe I'll go home and eat with the Father. The table is spread. The table is spread. And they're waiting for me. I can see the Father coming down to greet me. And Lord, I'm willing to be. Lord, I'm willing to be just a servant for thee. So I believe I'll go home and eat with the Father. The table is spread. The table is spread. And they're waiting for me. I can see the Father coming down to greet me. Lord, I'm willing to be. Lord, I'm willing to be just a servant for thee. And Lord, I'm willing to be. Lord, I'm willing to be a servant for thee. A servant for thee.
Thinking is absolutely stupid. It's just the dumbest thinking in the world. It was something stupid. Just dumb. Dude, do you even know how stupid you sound? That was just stupid. Just stupid. Just so stupid. I feel like I look at you and go, you're dumber than a $4 bill. It's just stupid. It's basic. Some stupid pastor whose initials are, I don't want to be called stupid. You're drinking dope. Liquid dope. You're dumb as a box of rocks. You fell out of the stupid tree and hit every branch on the way down, crawled back up and did it again. How stupid is that? There should be a label for that. There is. It's called stupid. It may be stupid to you younger guys. Well, that's stupid. It's just stupid. It's just stupid. Don't be stupid. Well, that's stupid. Oh! PTSD. Yeah, both statements are as stupid as can be. Just, that doesn't make any sense at all. Are you drinking stupid juice? This is the one time in all the time that we have actually done a program to expose your stupidity. Yeah, don't be stupid. I can't get over that. That is the stupidest intro I've ever seen in my life. Well done, David. This session is not to offend anybody, but it sure is fun. I think we can do it. Last week we talked about building credit. We just turned this in really to a how-to group of segments where we're going to talk about and teach different things. And last week was trying to help on building credit, how to do that. So we taught on that last week. Tonight's topic may be one of the most practical we've discussed yet. Have you ever noticed that some people seem to know how to solve problems while others stay stuck in the same problems for years? The difference is often not intelligence. It's knowing how to find the answers. Whether you're trying to repair a vehicle, build credit, buy a home, raise children, understand your Bible, or solve a problem at work, life rewards people who know how to find good information. Proverbs 18:15 says, "The heart of the prudent getteth knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeketh knowledge." Notice that wise people seek knowledge. They don't pretend to know everything. They don't guess. They don't just do what feels right. They seek answers. So tonight, I'd like the men around the table to help us discuss 3 simple steps to finding answers. We want to discuss defining the problem. Many people never solve their problem because they don't actually know what the problem is. You ever look at a kid and say, "What's wrong with you?" "Oh, no." That's what we're talking about. You get in your car and the car won't start. Well, why not? Your marriage is struggling. Well, why? Your money's not right. It's tight all the time. Well, why is that? You got to find the answers. Mm-hmm. You can't solve the right problem until you identify it correctly. Men tell us about a time that you thought one thing was wrong, but later discovered the real problem was something entirely different. So think about that. Secondly, find a trustworthy source. You need to find a trust. Everybody has an opinion. Not everybody has an answer. If you want to know how to repair an engine, I'm not asking anybody who has never repaired one. I'm not going to go to a banker. I'm not going to go to a baker. I'm going to go to a mechanic. I'm going to seek out good information. If I want marriage advice, I want to learn from someone who's not been divorced.
Right.
No. Should I say that a little bit slower? That's why if you're going to be a pastor, you must be the husband, not a husband of one wife at one time, a husband of one wife, period. Because you have to be able to point to the right way to do it. And if you are a failure in that area, you are not trustworthy in that area. If you want spiritual answers, start with the Bible. Men who have, we need to talk about this as well. Which one of you have had things taught, lessons in your life, and why, when those lessons were taught, did you trust them? I mean, that's important. And the last thing is act on what you learn. Act on what you learn. This may be where most people fail. Many people don't need more information. They need to obey what information they have. The answer doesn't help until you do something with it. How many times have we known exactly what we should do but failed to do it? Men, why do people sometimes ignore good advice even after they have found the answer? The truth is that most problems in life can be solved if we are willing to identify the problem, find a trustworthy source, and then act on what we learn. Proverbs 18:15, the heart of the prudent getteth knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeketh knowledge. Don't be afraid to admit you don't know. The smartest people in the world, often, the people who never are the people that never stop learning. And that's how you find answers.
Amen. I think the greatest part of that is being willing to make mistakes. Just be willing to own it. And like you said, you have to identify the problem. In doing that, you're going to more than often than not identify what was not the problem. I'm thinking in practical terms. I just 2 weeks ago, a week ago, whatever, my air conditioning wasn't working. It wasn't keeping up, and it wasn't even hot out. It was like a high of like 80, 82 or something like that, and my air conditioning was getting up to 74. It was set on 68 all day. And so I'm not an HVAC guy. I don't know. I mean, but I know a couple things that I knew is, one, you have to look at it. And I talked to Peter. Peter's better at that.
So you called Peter.
Stuff. So I called Peter. Say, hey, what's wrong? No. But I just mentioned it to him. But at the same time, you go through what you know. You Google it. That's a great, to try to figure out what the problem is.
Google.
And yeah, so what happened was I pulled out the filter, because that's really where you start. And I have learned that. Mm-hmm. Pulled out the filter, and guess what was wrong? Filter was definitely needing changed.
Right.
I pulled that out, but I thought, okay, maybe that's the problem. And so next day, it still wouldn't keep up. So I'm like, okay, well, what's next? And so I went through a bunch of different things, checking the lines outside, the exterior lines outside, seeing if they're the way they're supposed to. You recommend cleaning the exterior fins.
Yeah.
I did that, cleaned that up. Still didn't seem to be keeping up. And it wasn't until it was like 11:30. It was last Saturday, because I was hyped up on like 4 Red Bulls from the broadcast.
There you go.
I was sitting in my bed, and I couldn't figure out what it was. Yeah, I couldn't figure out what it was. And I wasn't even thinking about the air conditioning, so I'm not sure how. You know how sometimes the answer pops into your head? Well, I was sitting there, laying there in bed at like 11:30, I think, and it popped into my head that I remember as a kid, way on Allen Street, the air conditioning was having problems, and one of the things I remember that we did, we opened where the air conditioning was, took off that metal screen, and all of the copper lines, whatever they are, were frozen over. That had the
what is
Freon
that
in it.
What is that thing called?
The evaporator coils.
Yes, the coils were completely, and I remember they were completely frozen over as a kid, and I was like, the difference is I remember as a kid they were frozen outside too.
Yes.
Well, mine wasn't frozen outside, so I'm like, I didn't think that was it, but I didn't even know where that was at in my house. I didn't even know where it was, because I'd never looked. So I got it. So I was like, and it was raining that night, and I put my slippers on, ran to the garage, had to get the tools. I took it off. Sure enough, as soon as I took it off, it was like 4 inches of ice on that sucker. Yeah. What had happened was the filter had caused it to the airflow
Freeze.
not to go through enough to keep it, so it just froze over. And I had ran it nonstop.
Yeah, never thought to shut it off.
Never thought. Yeah, well, I did. Yeah, so I turned the air off, turned the fan on, and just let it blow the fan motor through it, and
Just
blow
stuck a
air.
fresh filter in.
Not yet. There's no
Voila.
filter in it yet, but I will get to that.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
But as soon as I let it, all of the ice melt and everything, turn it back on, boom, not a problem setting. That's
all good.
And so,
Praise
but
the
the
Lord.
point is, the process of figuring it out is
You didn't pay a bill though.
I didn't pay a bill.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So
That's
good
always a
stuff.
blessing.
I like
yeah.
it.
But that's
I
in
think
life.
of the Thomas Edison quote, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work."
Yep.
When they were working on the light bulb.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what I'm working on? Okay.
Who said the
Yeah.
statement? Give a man a fish, you feed him for a day, teach him to fish.
I think it was you.
Jesus.
Jesus.
Chinese proverb.
Is it
What does cookies say?
I thought it was like I don't
filet
know,
of fish.
Aristotle or something. I don't know.
Was that, was it Teddy Roosevelt?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Oh, the principle.
Some famous guy.
The principle is basically teach a person how to think. You have to teach them how to think. And the problem is our young people do not know how to think. A lot of them come here and they don't know what to do. It's like,
Chinese proverb.
Here's what I
are you stupid?
Oh,
here's a statement.
This is, I'm sorry, Ricardo.
I know.
I'm sorry in
for those guys
advance.
that brought in here.
This past week, we were doing the drywall in that restroom in the bus garage and stuff like this. Okay, so I was trying to work on the shower and get that thing all squared away, and I told he's done drywall before, sort of helped with that, and it was very simple. He was doing next to the door, underneath the light switch, and he had cut a little too much out of where the light switch is supposed to go. And
We
the
get
gap was
muddy.
too- Yeah, that's what I would have told him. It's like, just put it where. But this isn't what he did. He didn't put it where it was supposed to, because I told him he's supposed to put a 1/2-inch block on the floor, rest the drywall on it, screw it in. Bam. Nope. He pushed it up an extra 1/2 inch.
So the bottom is
the
gapped.
bottom on both sides of the door was fine. And it wouldn't matter with the gap at the bottom. The problem was when he went and cut the top piece. The top piece wouldn't fit. And I was like, and he was trying to get it. I was helping
Did
him
he
trying
do
to
the
get it.
drywall around the shower?
No, I did that. So don't blame him for that. I fixed most of
Would you
his
tell me about
mistakes.
that?
No.
I mean, why do
don't
I see
remember.
light
Mudding.
there and it's not over top of the...
Well, it's because there's supposed to be a trim piece that goes around the shower and going around there.
Okay.
Don't worry. There's
Mudding. We can fix it.
yeah, mud. It fixes a whole world of
More
sand.
mud.
Expanding foam.
No, not in that case. But it wasn't until I looked at the gap at the bottom. I was like, why is that so much bigger than that side? I was like, lowered it. And yeah, the measurements made so much more sense now.
You have to use your eyes.
Yes.
That's all.
You have
Yeah,
to
but
know,
you know
what
what?
it was.
Sometimes that illustration there is a little bit different because I think Ricardo was told how to do it and just did his own thing. That's a different thing.
No,
Because
I
he's not
was
paying- he's
more
not paying attention.
I was trying to figure out what was wrong.
He's
You were
stupid.
figuring out the problem that he created. That's what you're saying.
So, nothing against him. He's not a drywaller. He's definitely not a Mexican. We figured that
I mean,
out.
how
And it's
can you
like,
be
how
a
many
Mexican and
times?
not be a drywaller?
Right.
I don't know.
There's no way possible. It's like
Shame.
it's in their blood. So,
When you graduate, yeah, you'll know.
He's
So-
going to be a drywaller.
We'll
make
sure
sure
that-
that-
one day,
One day.
in 50 years.
Your
I've
dad, your dad texted me. He says, or was that with you? Is that you?
Dad texted me and then I texted you.
Yeah. Senator Kennedy, I love him. He's from Kentucky or
Louisiana.
Oh, yeah,
He says, I'm not can't do it like that. I'm not saying you're the dumbest person in the world, but you better hope he doesn't die. That's great. That's great.
I think I've heard for tech problems, picnic. Have you ever heard the term picnic? Problem in chair, not in computer.
Yeah.
That's 90% of the problem when it comes to not just tech, but just like figuring out problems generally. It's probably you.
The word common sense, people think you either got it or you don't. But I don't. I think common sense is taught from a very young age. I think we all have the ability to hone those skills. But laziness and computers and Game Boys and, it's so bad. We have NFL having to promote 60 minutes of play outside. I mean, how retarded is that? The game is played outside.
Kids, stop
Not
watching
much longer
football.
for the Chicago Bears. You're going to get a sissy dome.
That's right.
Madden 26. I mean,
That's terrible.
Oh, is that what Play 60 is? You play it inside, 60 minutes inside on the boy.
outside.
My thumbs were sore.
I know this when Damien
I am not promoting that for the record.
set the record straight.
Unless they sponsor me. No.
When Ricardo first came on staff at the church, I don't remember what were we working on when I said if you want to be valuable in any area of life. Oh, we were working on the mower. We were trying to figure out the fuse. I think something was wrong. But anyway, I was just talking to him. I said, eventually, you can't always be the second man. You can't be going to get tools. You know, You want to make yourself valuable. You don't have to know all these things. You have to know how to figure it out. And that's what we're talking about is so valuable when it comes to the ministry, spiritually, when it comes to being successful at a job. Be somebody, you don't have to know everything, but be somebody who's willing to figure it out. If you're willing to get your hands dirty, you figure it out. Sometimes that means breaking things. And I know that is like a no when it comes to our ministry.
Circuit boards.
But and here's the thing,
you can
Dad,
tell that story.
Here's the thing, Dad. Growing up, I look back and I can remember, and maybe it was more because of necessity we don't have that as much now. But growing up, I would think about how many things I did as a teenager. I'm like, I can't believe Dad let me do that. And I can remember breaking things all the time. But I can see now how it got me to in several areas, especially when it comes to like media stuff. Like, how did I get? It takes doing it wrong and doing it until you get it figured out.
Nothing ever gets done if you're not brave enough to attempt it.
You have to just be willing to do it. And since this is an episode on teenagers, that has to be something that the parents have to be willing to put the training wheels on the kids, young people, but let them do it.
So much liberty as a parent in that if you can handle knowing that your kids are going to make mistakes, know this. I told my staff this. They'll say, do I handle this problem with this person? They're worried about having kid gloves with all the church members because they don't want to cause me any problems. I said, look, handle the problem. I taught you already. You know my mind. I don't want it. You may not handle it right, but I can fix that. I can fix that. But you need to learn. And if you don't do it, and you're always afraid, you're never going to get that wisdom. And so that's been my principle with my kids. And I think we need to. It was English novelist Anne Isabel Thackeray Ritchie, who has too many names, who said, give a fish to a man, you'll feed him for a day. Teach him how to fish. That's what Mrs. Reeves said. Google.
According to ChatGPT, the saying is often attributed to Lao Tzu, Confucius, or something else. However, researchers who have traced the quote's history have found no evidence. The modern wording appears to have evolved over time from several similar sayings. One of the earliest close version is what Mrs. Reeves was talking about. So the safest answer is it's an old proverb of uncertain origin, often called a Chinese proverb, but there's no reliable evidence.
Here's the thing. There is a biblical truth to the fact that you have to teach your children to do what's going to help them survive. And, if you don't work, you don't eat.
So God.
How's that? So God ultimately, all little sayings, if they do have bite, they're rooted in Scripture. And so we give Chinese people the credit, I don't care. Give Japanese people the credit, I don't care. The bottom line is, ultimately, if you're looking at through the lens of truth, it's in Scripture.
Amen. Well, I think that concludes our episode. It's about the same time as it was last week, right?
I didn't give my advice.
Oh, yeah, give your advice.
ChatGPT. Okay.
ChatGPT.
All right.
Actually, that is a good tool.
Run it through
Google.
Well, let me ask you this. What would you say to people who do run the ChatGPT, and you both could, I bet, learn this. How do you navigate, and the Google's the same, how do you navigate using that tool and finding the correct information? Just because you use it doesn't mean that it's giving you the right information, right?
Oh, totally.
Yes.
I mean, you have to know something about what you're putting into it, because they'll only spit back out at you what you put. You have to feed it the right information in order for it to give you the proper answer.
Explain how you use it for work. I taught you to use it for work.
So there's a number of times, especially on basically our air conditioning furnace systems.
No, well, let me explain this first real quick.
Which part?
All right, guys, buckle in. We'll be here another 15 minutes.
Let me just explain this real
25 minutes.
Real quick.
All right, join us next week on Brooke.
So when Pete runs into something he can't figure out, I've always told him, text me. That's why I got phones. So text me, ask me. Then I started learning. Through my boys taught me about ChatGPT, and I was kind of, old-fashioned. It's like a radio and radio waves and stuff. The devil,
It's a power of the air.
Yes,
it is.
So, and I was assured that the more you use it, the more it learns you. So if what you put in it, you control the parameters. And so I just told Pete, put as much information that you know into it, ask it questions, but then when it comes back and it leads you a direction, challenge that direction. And what that do will fine tune your information. And then also you have other sources to check that information by. So go ahead.
Yeah. So this one over here, right? Or are we talking about the Harmony?
Whichever one you keep frying the motherboard in.
Oh, well, the fried motherboard wasn't.
Well, I heard this one.
Okay, so
So
the first thing that happened was during the wintertime, there's a furnace that goes for the kindergarten side of the school, and it had gone out. It wasn't working one morning, so I had to take a look at it. I did go through the process of diagnosing it correctly that the motherboard was fried on it. But what I didn't do was I didn't try and find out why it fried. Now, if I had unscrewed it, I could have looked on the back and found out there was actually a circuit that was burnt out. And from there, I probably could have traced down and figured out what was the problem that actually did happen. Well, anyway, I talked to Pastor. He ordered a circuit board. He had it fast shipped here overnight or 2 days, whatever. I think it was overnight. So we got it the next day. I installed it, fired it up, worked great until a wonderful big spark where the what is it called? The igniter? The electrical igniter blew up. It was very interesting. It was a beautiful sight.
Wait, you were staying there when it happened?
I was in front of it. It wasn't that big of an explosion, but this
cool.
thing,
He found through experience why the first motherboard went kaput.
Oh, totally.
Because now we had
a second motherboard.
But we found the problem.
Yeah. So I ended up having to replace that and the igniter, and it had just overloaded the system, blew up the motherboard, and all that kind of stuff.
So now you can say, if I ever run into a bad motherboard, what are you going to check?
I'm going to check the back of it for burnt circuits.
And
it's like the fuse situation.
And what else would you check?
Oh, the igniter.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Now you've broadened your understanding that these things can happen.
Better try to figure this out. See if this is the issue. Anyway, so went through that. Then there was another issue that happened over at the Harmony where I miswired.
But you did it according to what it told you, right?
Well, no. Okay, I didn't use ChatGPT to install the new thermostat because we had an old thermostat that wasn't Wi-Fi connected, and then I put in one that was. I just followed the steps that were on the box and followed it, but then it didn't seem to be working properly, so I went back to the actual manual to the unit and followed that. But I misread something, did something. Something was miswired to where the heat worked, but the air conditioning did not.
It was just 2 wires flipped.
Yeah, it was 2 wires that were flipped. So, but anyway, I think it was a whole morning or 2 hours pulling my hair out. I was like, why in the world? Finally called him, totally freaked him out because I thought I'd blown up another circuit board.
Yeah.
So I was like,
I came in and I just did the same thing that he did, exact same process, only I have a few more years experience. So I was able to see right away that the red and white wire was just switched around, and he switched it around, put it in, it reset.
And it worked.
So everybody's happy. But of course, I took the opportunity to look at him and say, Pete, time is money.
Actually, I didn't.
It can't.
But yes, it came to mind.
I did.
You actually did not.
I usually do.
I appreciate it.
Because I hate when something easy.
Because you don't know that already.
Costs me a whole day's worth of pay.
So it counts.
Yeah.
You've had a lot of time. Now tell us the answer to this question.
ChatGPT.
How do you balance the two between using ChatGPT, using Google, and what's your advice to not swallowing everything you read on Google? Bonjour.
Okay.
Before he says this, no, I'm just kidding.
Oh my.
No, I think Pastor hit it on the head. Challenge the more information, the better. Challenge, and also it's also important, stay in school, kids, because if you're an idiot, ChatGPT will be as well. I think I was telling maybe it was Ricardo,
in, garbage out.
Yeah, it's a knowledge multiplier. So if
It'll
0 times 2 is still 0, it doesn't matter. ChatGPT can have all the information in the world, but if you're an idiot,
Yeah. And
You don't know how to get it.
yeah, you have
There've been a number of times. Sorry, there've been a number of times I'll put something in, and I'll look at it, and I can just tell by the way it spits it out that it actually is working against what I originally asked. And so I'll argue with it. I'll say, no. Are you stupid? This and then comes back and goes,
Oh, yes, that's a good point. I
You
am
are
stupid."
exactly right.
Yeah.
You're very wise in handling it that way. I'm like, yes.
And-
tell me more.
and you can never. It never hurts.
If ChatGPT was
Who,
like
who
Pastor,
needs to
Yeah.
pay
no one would
money
use it.
for counselors? You just
You
go
know,
to
there was
ChatGPT.
a church that did that recently. I say a church loosely, a non-denom. That this pastor was like had the video, and he's like, I know our church is big. I can't talk to everybody, so we built in. I don't remember his name is Pastor Steve in our church app. And if you want to counsel, it had his voice, and it was just AI, and it was just like, are you kidding me? You can talk to me, tell me prayer requests anytime that you need. It's like,
Hey, Pastor Steve, tell him to talk to Jesus.
a little weird.
You will find, though, the more you use ChatGPT, if you get your own account, the more you use it, the more it will get to know you, and it will lean towards who you are. It takes a track record, and the other night I asked it a question, and I said, based on all of our conversations, this is what I'm, and it came back and said, well, I know this about your family. I know this about you've always said this, and you've always said that, but it draws from everything, and so.
The government is watching.
What I'm saying is we have no excuse anymore for having the wrong answers.
Right.
They're not having any answers. We're just sheer lazy.
Yeah.
And we want somebody else to do it for us.
And unfortunately, the technology that is supposed to make us smarter and better at doing things has made us dumber and more lazy, because it has taught us not to think.
There's a robot for that.
I just saw an app or an article about a coder who erased like 3 months worth of Claude writing his code because he didn't understand it, and it was overcomplicated, and it was just a side project, so it took 2 weeks and redid it. But
I didn't understand a word of that. All right. Claude project. All right.
so Claude is a version.
This is the new media director.
He just doesn't know it yet.
Claude is a type
I literally
chat.
said
Hold on, let him finish.
I literally
Let him
said
finish.
It's an AI bot, right?
It's like
Is Will
ChatGPT.
back?
Yeah,
Is Will
okay.
back? Because I did not understand anything.
There's a version of Claude that will code things for apps and stuff. It's called Claude Code, and he
Okay.
was using
He's trying
that
to use it, and it
do
hurt
like
it.
a side project, and it broke something because it was over.
Write me a program that will make me money on
They
this.
literally, you can literally
right.
do that. And that's just like you can't, we used to have a statement, or, I found it on Google, or what was the statement? They researched it on Google, and so therefore it's true. I saw it on Google.
Yeah.
Same thing
Abraham
goes for
Lincoln said
chat.
that.
I mean, I did a couple months ago, I was trying to figure out a replacement piece for the bus emergency hood thing, and it said, I put the picture, put the model, did everything I could do, and it said they don't make these that you can find them individually. You know what I did? I went to the actual dealership, the dealer of the bus that we have, and I asked somebody. And he's like, yeah, come around the
they'll
table,
share it.
and they just put it in there, and he found it in about 3 minutes. Found the stuff that you could actually order. Now I didn't order it because it was like ridiculously expensive.
So we went from order
But
to
here's
ties.
so the point. But the point is, it's
Because they don't make it anymore.
Yeah, ChatGPT is not God. It's not Chat God. It's not
Well,
all knowing.
The element went out in my dryer, and it helped me figure it out. Gave me a link to order it. I ordered it. Got there. I had an older model. Had to send it back. Get a different one.
But you learn.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. This is why I love our ministry. I love what God's done here. It may be small, but the people that come in are learning to be better people just in society. So somebody said, well, those diplomas from that college are no good. Look, it's not the diploma, it's the individual. Our graduates can go out and figure out how to do the job. Right. And I've always said this. Whenever I went and interviewed for a manufacturer's job in the industry, they'd say, do you know how to do this? And I said, look, if you show me, you have to show me one time, maybe twice, but you generally just one time. I'll get it done, and then I will perfect that. I will find a way to get it done better, because that's, every person on our staff has figured out how to do their job better. I showed them how to get answers, point them in directions. That way I don't have to sit around and go, Are you stupid? Are you stupid? Are you stupid?
He still does that.
Every church could multiply.
Oh, that's our segment.
every church could multiply their production and their success if they would just take the workers they have now and teach them how to think, how to go find the answers. It all starts, number one, with Scripture. The Bible has to be taught, and you have to practically apply it to your life. And then you have to understand God never puts you in a situation without being able to find the answer. There are answers. Knock, it should be open unto you. Seek, ye shall find. So just don't be stupid.
Don't be stupid.
It's good.
Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of The Brook. Next week will be shorter. We hope you'll join us again next week at the same time in the same place for another fun-filled long show. Pastor, Peter, JT, and everyone between, thank you for the great broadcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you joined us today on YouTube. We'll end the show with this song, Serve Him Now, by Our Fathers 4. We'll see you all next week.
Okay.
When I was just a child, I would go to Sunday school. The teacher there would say to me that I could be God's tool. She said I could be a servant to complete His perfect will. He had a job in mind for me that only I could fill.
I had a firm foundation, I had Jesus in my heart, but couldn't seem to understand that He needed me from the start. Remembering many precious times I heard my Father's call, I've come to realize He wants my heart, my life, my all.
Serve Him now. He needs your life right now. Serve Him now. He's calling out your name. Christian, give your all to Jesus. There's no time to waste. Serve Him now. Tomorrow could be too late. Now I am much older. Regrets I do know. But when I look to Jesus, a love for Him I want to show. And I want to thank my Savior who gave His life and took my place. That is why with grace from up above, I'll die to myself each day. Serve Him now. He needs your life right now. Serve Him now. He's calling out your name. Christian, give your all to Jesus. There's no time to waste. Serve Him now. Tomorrow could be too late. We do not know the day, and we do not know the hour, but we do know He is coming soon in victory and power. Serve Him now. Serve Him now. He needs your life right now. Serve Him now. He's calling out your name. Christian,